You can use Storyboarder to storyboard and visualize your story, even if you don't know how to draw. You can do that with Shot Generator, and specifically Shot Generator for VR. Everything I'm about to show you is free, and you can do it right now. Basically, you can direct a movie without even leaving your house. Not many people realize you can go into a virtual world, add characters and objects, add virtual cameras, and literally direct your sequence of shots. First, I'm going to show you how to set up and lay out your shots. Then I'm going to talk to you about how you can do it in virtual reality. And then I'm going to talk to you about the future of what we're doing with this. Hey, if you like this video or the work that we're doing, I'd love it if you would leave a comment. I read all the comments and I like to put that YouTube heart next to the comment. So if you write a comment, I will put the heart on it. But yeah, also if you like this, feel free to subscribe. And my objective is to make one video every week. Storyboarder is a very powerful storyboarding tool that we've been developing to help develop the story of the movie that we've been working on. We use storyboarding as a writing tool. So when we come up with new story ideas, we visualize them in storyboard form. And we really quickly realized that we needed to create a tool that would allow us to storyboard without having to draw. And so we built this tool inside Storyboarder called Shot Generator. And I guess the best way to explain it is to just show it to you. So open Storyboarder. Let's create a new storyboard. We'll just make a blank one, 16 by 9, and call it Test Shot Generator. Okay, so here I have my storyboarder window, and to create a shot generator shot, all I do is click on the right-hand side here, click Shot Generator, and now we'll open up Shot Generator. So I'll make this window bigger. All right, I have this blank slate here, and all I want to do is add a character, and then I can pose the character. Hey, how's it going? I can add an object like this box here, and then I can change that object to a chair, and then I can move the camera around. So if I want to like move the camera over here, I can do that. If I want to take the, let's see, the chair here, I'll move the character over here, make him sit down in the chair. So that's pretty easy. Let's see, I can add another character. So I'll add a character right here, change that to a female, and rotate there. And then I can click on a pose. So let's say I can do like that, and say change my camera angle however I want. And let's add a new camera. So I'll click here, do like the reverse shot here. So I have this shot and this shot. And all I have to do is take this shot, insert or save it to the board, and then create this shot, insert as new board. When I go back in Shot Generator, I can see that I have my storyboards here. Now, once I have my very simple scene here of 2 shots, which I created pretty quickly, I can go back in and edit these shots. So if I want to, I just click on this Shot Generator shot, it loads up. And if I want to change the camera angle, let's say I want to do a kind of worm's eye view, and then save this to the board, now I have that shot. And so my sequence looks like that. I can also do kind of other interesting things like adding lights. So here's a light being added. I can change the scene background color and lighting environment in general. Directional light, I could just kind of change all this stuff, move the light around wherever I want. And here's my new scene. Now, another thing is that in terms of creating rooms inside Shot Generator, you can very easily do it by clicking on scene here, clicking on room, and now all of a sudden you have a room that you're inside of, and you can change the properties of that room. So if you want it like, 20 meters wide by 20 meters deep, you can do that. And you're in this like quite large room. The other thing is that when you're building scenes, you can very easily just add boxes to generate your scenes. So, for example, if I want to create, I don't know, just the idea that there are like some objects in the background here, I can select this box, change the height of it, duplicate it, move it over here, make a box that's like that size, duplicate it. Let's see, take this box, put it over there, take this box, put it over there. And I can basically just move things around. I can basically set the dress the set with all of these boxes. So it's quite easy and simple. UI-wise, this looks a little complicated, but it's actually quite simple. At the top here, we have the toolbar, so you can add cameras, objects, characters, lights, volumes, which are kind of like, I can add rain and stuff like that. And then I can also add images, which is also super nice. If you have an image that you want to add, either as like a poster in the background or as a sky or something like that, you can do that. Let me just delete that. Here you have buttons that will allow you to save the board or insert a new shot. Here you have the top-down diagram, so you can move cameras around, however you want. You can move characters around however you want. You can also press this button and it'll swap to a larger view of the top-down view. Here is the list of all the objects in your scene, fairly simple. And then here are the properties. This pane is the properties of the selected item. So here I've selected this character, and I can scroll through all of the properties here. Here I select the box, and I can change the X position of the box, the depth, the rotation, but I can also change the model type of this box. So if I want to change it to a rock, or if I want to change it to a tree, I can do that. At the bottom here, we have kind of a helper bar at the bottom, so you can kind of see all of your camera controls. So if I want to roll the camera, I can do that. But I can also use key commands like the ASDW, R and F key to move up and down, the Z and the X key to roll, and the bracket keys to change the lens. So it'll snap between all the lenses. So if I want to go to like an 85 millimeter lens or just back to a 50, I can do that. Let's see. This is a really cool feature. So if you click on a character and you say, oh, you know what? I really like this character. I would like a medium shot of this character. You just select the character, click medium shot, and it'll frame it up automatically. And then let's say if I want to do a worm's eye from this character, I could do that. Or a bird's eye from this character, I can do that as well. So you can kind of get these really nice shots. Like if I wanted to do an establishing shot, for example, I could just go click that and it'll create an automatically generated establishing shot around a line. I can also change the angle very easily. If I want to create a medium shot or bust shot on this guy and make it eye level and then pan around, I can easily do that as well. So those are sort of the easy ways that you can manipulate the camera, and that's how you can manipulate shots in Shot Generator. Let's see. So as you can see, when I add a character and then I pose that character, it looks kind of cool when I'm doing it, but very quickly this thing can get out of hand. Let's say if I wanted to move this character around, and pose this character in a very particular kind of way. It's very difficult to manipulate 3D objects in 2D space without constantly rotating and moving around and getting things just right. And you can make really great stuff with, with the system the way that it is. But there's a much easier way, and that is to open this scene in VR. So if you click on this button, you can open up the scene in VR pretty easily. So you can see I have an Oculus Quest here. It's the cheapest one that I bought on Amazon, $399, I think. This is the one we recommend. You just buy it. You don't need to install any apps. As long as this headset is connected to the same Wi-Fi network, all you do is open up Storyboarder and Shot Generator, and you put it on. So if I open up Shot Generator and I click on Open in VR, you'll see this little pop-up down here that says, to view, open a VR web browser to http://192.168.0.169.:1234. So I'm just going to put on my VR headset. And here inside VR, I see my home screen, and I navigate to the browser, and I click on the search or enter website, and I type in http:// and it's really important that you type in http://192.168.0.169:1234 and press go. Then it will load up Shot Generator, and I just click on Enter Shot Generator VR. It's hard to really explain like what the benefits are of using VR unless you've tried it. But the first thing you'll notice when you're inside the VR is the sense of scale. So when you put this headset on, you are going to feel like everything is like real right in front of you, which is incredibly powerful, especially considering that every shot that you set up is real scale. So when you set up a camera with a 50mm lens at a particular distance from a character, that is like exactly reproducible in the real world. The other thing is that just the ability to move around objects in the 3D space in VR is incredibly intuitive, and that's the real benefit. The other thing is that as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi hotspot, you can have this whole setup just using a laptop VR headset, and basically you can do this remote. You can do this anywhere, like at a cafe or a co-working space. It really doesn't. You don't need to be tethered to a computer at all.
Welcome to Shot Generator VR. With Shot Generator VR in Storyboarder, you can create and edit scenes in VR. You can add objects, pose and place characters, and set up virtual cameras to create shots. It's the easiest way to lay out scenes and create storyboards.
So when you first enter into Shot Generator, you'll get this tutorial that opens up. If for whatever reason the tutorial closes or it's not there, you can just click on this button and click on
Welcome
the
to Shot
mark.
Generator VR.
All right. Now, if you look at the controllers, I got two controllers here. They have these kind of rays that stick out of them, and basically you can use those rays to point at things and use the trigger button here, this front button. And so I'll just click on this next button.
In VR, there are two ways to move around. The easiest way is using the analog stick to move and rotate. Press up or down to move forward or backward. Press left or right to rotate. But you can also teleport to any place in your scene. Hold down the side grip button, point at the floor where you want to go, and press the trigger button to teleport there.
So pretty simple. You just hold the side grip down, press the trigger, and you're gonna teleport there. Sometimes you might teleport all the way out here and you'd be like, everything disappeared. But if you look back, you'll see that the scene is there. So you could just rotate around and then just teleport in front of your scene and rotate back. So that's kind of useful.
To move an object, point at it and hold down the trigger button to grab it. Move it wherever you'd like, and release the trigger to let it go. While you're dragging an object around, you can press up and down on the analog stick to move the object further or closer to you. You can press left and right to rotate the object. Also, while dragging, you can hold the side grip button to prevent an object from rotating freely. This is useful for placing objects flat on the floor.
Another thing that the tutorial doesn't say is that you can hold down the side grip button, and then afterwards you can press the bottom button on this controller and it will drop the object to the floor, which is really handy. And it'll also drop objects on top of each other, so I can, drop this character on top of a stack of boxes.
Attached to one of your virtual controllers, you will see an interface. This interface allows you to add, duplicate, remove, and change properties of objects. Use the trigger button on the opposite controller to press buttons or drag sliders on the interface.
So here, this button will deselect everything. This button will duplicate an object. So if I click on that, it'll duplicate it. Here is a menu to add things. So I can add an object like a box. I can add a character. I can add a light. Or I can add another camera and place it however I want.
Once you select an object, you will see properties for that object on the interface. You can point at a slider, press and hold the trigger button, and change the value. Here's an extra tip. If you want to select an object without moving it, point at it and press the side grip button.
So normally when you click on an object with the trigger, it will move it around kind of a little bit. And that's kind of annoying because sometimes you just don't want to move that object. So for, let's say, these two objects, I want to select this character, I could just press this side grip button and it will select these objects with the side grip without moving them.
To pose a character, first select it using the trigger or side grip. Teleport close to it. See its bone structure? To rotate a bone, just point at the bone, hold down the side grip button, and rotate your controller. The rotation of your controller will be transferred to the bone. This takes some getting used to, but after you've played with it for a few minutes, it becomes quite natural.
So there are two ways to pose a character, actually three. The first way is to select the IK endpoints and just move them around. So if I grab this character's hand and just move it wherever I want, it'll kind of rotate the bones how you might expect. Also, there are these other objects called pole targets, and they affect the rotation of the joint in between. So in this case, the elbow, in this case, the other elbow, and in this case, the knee. So IK is for really fast, easy posing where you kind of want to do something really fast and quick. So let's say I want to have this guy leaning against a wall. So I can just grab his pelvis here, have him going like that, maybe move his elbow like that. I don't know, it's kind of an awkward pose, but whatever, it's cool. And then I can go in and make micro adjustments. So let's say if I want him rotating a little bit, I go in and roll over a bone and then use the side grip to transfer the rotation. Pretty easy. The other way to pose a character, and I'll just add a character here, I can do something called pose capture, and pose capture is pretty easy. And I guess the best way to do it is just show it to you. So click on an object and then click pose capture here, and then I kind of got a mirror, and it's going to count down to 5. And when it counts down, it'll lock that pose position in place. So you can do kind of complicated things. So let's say I want to make a pose where I'm looking at my hands. So there we go. It's a pretty simple pose. You can also do kind of nice things let's say you want to have two characters look at each other. I'll just add another character here. And even though they're not looking at each other now, I want to make them look at each other. So I click on this character, click on pose capture, I look at him. And then this character, I'll do pose capture, and I'll look at him through my hands. So very, very fast and easy to pose a character. Now, as I said before, if the tutorial window closes, you can just click on the HUD and
To
click
pose
on
a
the question
character,
mark.
first select it using the trick. For an overview of your whole scene, press both side grip buttons at the same time. This takes you into Mini Mode. In Mini Mode, you can make big changes in your scene. To get back to regular mode, just press both grips again, or teleport.
So this is really good if, like, let's say I want to bring all these characters together. I could just go and I can click on this character, move him over here, move this character over here, move this guy here. And then let's say I want to take this box and put it over here. I can just do really fast, simple setup here. And then to get back, I just teleport to wherever I want in the scene, and I'm back here.
To undo an action, press the A button on the right controller. To redo, press the B button.
Pretty simple. I made a movement, want to undo it. Move this guy, move him again, move him again. I can undo. Okay.
When you're ready to save your scene, just take off your headset. Every change you've made has been transferred to your computer in Shot Generator and is ready to be saved. On your computer, you can save your scene changes to the current board or insert them as a new board.
So here I have this camera that I've been moving around. Let's say I move this. Now when I take my headset off, I can see that every change that I've made has been updated in Shot Generator. And all I have to do is click Save to Board now. And when I go back to Shot Generator, now this is the scene that I've done. And if I want to make an edit, I can just click on here and open up a new scene here. Now, I wanted to show you how easy it is to set up a new scene just from scratch, and let's just do that right now. So I'm gonna add a new, totally blank, new Shot Generator scene. And I'm going to put my headset back on. And whenever you change Shot Generator on the computer, you want to press this Oculus button, press quit, and refresh the browser, just so that the browser inside of VR has the latest scene, because you never want it to be sort of out of sync. Anyways, so here what I want to do is I want to set up a scene very quickly that is basically two people sitting at a table in chairs and maybe a person in the background. So very simply, I'm going to click add a box, drop that box. Now I'm going to change that box into this table. And I did so by clicking on the object and then pressing this arrow here, right? So then I'm going to add another object here, and I'm going to change that into a chair. So I'm just going to find this chair here. I'm going to pick it up, rotate it, snap it, drop it to the floor, and I can quickly duplicate the chair, rotate it around, constrain it, drop it to the floor. And now I'm going to add two characters. So I got my character here. And one way I can make this character sit is by clicking on the arrow button and then going to the pose presets and then scrolling down here. And I'm going to find one that here's a guy sitting. So I can just take that guy and put him in the chair there. Pretty easy. Over here, I can add a new character. Put him in roughly the right place. And in this case, I can just take the IK control point, like his butt here, and I can just rotate it right down onto the table. Take his hands and I can put them on the table as well. by moving in and rotating around. And then let's say similarly, I want to make this guy lean in, you know, and want to maybe bring his hands out a little bit. Oops, say I want to undo that. Pretty easy here. So I got these two characters looking at each other. Then maybe I want to make a character in the, you know, back here, looking at them. And I'm going to use pose capture, and I'm going to say, wait, no, stop. And I'm going to press this arrow, and then I want this character to be a female, so I click on the character and I change her to a female. Let's say I want to change her hands so they're even more spread out. So I click on here, click on hands, and I choose this one, really spread out. Got it. Great. Cool. Now what I can do is, let's say I want to set up some cameras. So I'll just go in here. I'll add the over the shoulder. Now, let's say I want to make this a little wider. So I'll go like that. Change the focal length. I'm sort of splitting the frame here, but that's okay. Let me add a new camera. I'm gonna move that over here and put it reverse. Teleport over there, and there we go. Now I notice that this character is not looking at this character, and I want this character to look at that character. So I'll just click on that character and do pose capture. Make sure that he's looking. There we go. Now it's a little awkward because he kind of rotated, but that's all right. It's all good. Just mess with it a little bit. And then I probably want to add one character or one more camera that is a kind of close up on this woman over here. All right. That looks pretty good. Now, in order to insert these as shots, I can pretty much go up to my HUD, and that's the head-up display. And in my HUD, I can see all of the cameras that I've set up. So I have camera 1, camera 2, and then when I click on the camera, it changes the active camera. So if I want to insert each one of these shots, I just click on the camera that I want, click Insert as New Board, click on this shot, Insert as New Board, click on this shot, Insert as New Board, and click on this shot, the close-up of the woman, Insert as New Board. And now, when I take my headset off, I can see, let me just close Shot Generator here. I can see that I've inserted all of these shots. And that's it's basically how it works. And you can see exactly how fast I set the shot up. Now let's say I want to take this shot and edit it. I just click on it and I can see that this guy's hands are through the table and it's not exactly what I want. Let's say in this case I want to change the lighting. So I could just take the scene, bring the background down, the ambient light down, move it up a bit, and then take the directional light completely off. And then I'm gonna go back inside my VR headset and quit and refresh, because I wanna refresh from the updates that I did in Shot Generator. And now I can see that my scene, that the properties that I changed inside Shot Generator are now updated in VR. And I can go in, add a light. And so I put this light above my two characters. And then let's say I want to add another light that's more like bottom lit over here. So it's kind of creepy. And then I'm going to go over here and say I want this angle to be a little wider. And here, all I have to do to save this and update this shot here is click Save to Board. And that will update the shot generator shot on inside of Storyboarder. And the other cool thing is that any one of these shots, I can go to these shots. So like, let's say if I want to go to this shot here, I just click on it and it will automatically load the scene. So it's super nice and easy to be able to switch around. So if I want to go to this scene, I just click on that, and now I'm in the scene, and I'm back here and able to make changes and save them back to the board. So I hope you can see exactly how easy it is to make changes to these to scenes inside of VR very quickly and easily, and just see exactly how powerful it is. So I want to make her that and that, and this guy, I'll make him muscular. And so here we got kind of an interesting scene. Now you're able to make custom characters, basically custom characters, custom objects, even custom locations. So, for example, you could take this scene that you've created here, export it as a GLB, import it into a program like Blender, and then you can essentially build a scene around it and then re-import it back in, and you're gonna have a really nice environment, and when you save those shots, you're going to be able to see that in your boards, which is really great. I wanted to talk about the future of where we're taking this. I understand not everyone is going to use the shot generator feature, and especially not the VR features, but where we're taking it is we are taking each shot that we develop in Shot Generator, and we're using all of that shot metadata to produce this movie that we're working on. So for us, the ability to have these complete scenes with camera setups, so that every single shot we can go back in and move a camera slightly if we want, and move and repose characters if we want, is incredibly valuable compared to having drawn shots. So a couple things that we're working on. First is we have a working version of multi-user. So let's say I have this headset and another person has the headset. We can both go into the same world at the exact same time and move around objects. So basically build the scene at the same time. And using certain internet trickery, you can even do this remotely. So I could be actually in a different continent than somebody else who's working on the same exact scene. The other nice thing is that two people in headsets, but not only that, another person watching the screen will be able to see exactly what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So it's really great in a collaborative environment, which is important for us. The next thing is that we're working on AR, and let me get my phone. Where's my phone? It's right here. We're working on an AR feature so that if you get sick in VR, which a lot of people do, or you simply just don't have VR because it's cumbersome and expensive, we're working on an AR version that basically you connect to, in a very similar way, you connect to Shot Generator using your phone, and then you'll enable AR, you'll enter AR, and then the interface to the world is basically seen through your phone. So you basically can just move around seeing the world through the phone. And the center point on the phone is the cursor. So you basically go and you say, oh, I see a character here. So you click on the character and you can move them over here. Or if you click on a bone, you can click on the bone and rotate the bone. Or you can click, locate a space and then say, I want to add a table right here and a chair right here, and add a character and then pose the character. You can do that all on the phone. And that's going to be really, really great considering that everyone has a phone, and this will be accessible to almost everyone. So those are some of the things we're working on in the future. Thanks so much for taking time to watch this video. I know that it was long, and I also know that from a community perspective, some of you out there use primarily the 2D aspect of Storyboarder and are kind of frankly annoyed that we're working on so much of this VR stuff. I hear you, and we also agree. We need it for our production that we're working on, and I think that you'll hopefully see how cool that's about to be. But we are basically diverting our focus and attention back to the 2D side of things. So we're rewriting the drawing engine, we're having overdraw, we'll have layers, we'll have PDF exports, and that's coming fairly soon after we finish up with this VR, which is frankly almost done. But thanks so much, and if you like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I would love it if you just leave a comment. Thanks. Bye.